Hey, everybody, I'm Judah. Welcome back to another few minutes where we reflect on the beauty, the majesty, and the significance of Jesus. It is the most wonderful time of the year. It's December. I love this. You are most likely watching this on December 1st, which is wild. I truly, truly love this time of year. I hope you and your family and your friends and your circle and sphere is safe and sound and secure. These are exciting days and challenging and unusual and unprecedented days as we are well into the technological age. Like that's like the official term or something. But Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you. What does that mean? It means happy celebration of the birth of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, a baby born in a barn, and whom we are going to talk about. I'd like to spend the whole month of December in a collection of sermons entitled When God Was Born. When God Was Born. In fact, we're not even going to look at the record and recording of the birth of Jesus. We are going to go 700 years before his birth. And we are going to look at one of the most significant and prophetic verses in the history of literature, in the history of human beings. Isaiah chapter 9 and verse 6, some 700 years before Jesus was born in a barn in Bethlehem. The old prophet Isaiah prophesied that there would come a God-child, a God-son, a child son. And in this prophetic verse, we get four titles or four things that this God-man, this God-child, this infant baby would grow up to perform and accomplish in humanity. Now, because of our time, I'm only going to take about 15 minutes or less. I have so many Christmas stories. I might weave them in because I love this time of year and I love some of my childhood stories. And I hope it starts getting you thinking about some nostalgia and reflection on Christmas time. Notwithstanding, it was December 21st that my beloved and late father passed away many years ago now. And so I just want to say to loved ones and family members and friends all over the world, this time of year for a lot of people can bring a remembrance of pain and loss and absence of loved ones and friends and family who have gone on before us. And so I just want you to know you are also on our mind and on our heart. Let us know how we can pray for you. Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6 reads like this: For to us a child is born, to us a son is given. The government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, and Prince of Peace. So to say it plainly, that is our month of December. We will look at Wonderful Counselor today. Next week, we will look at Mighty God. The week after that, we'll look at Everlasting Father. And the closest service to the actual day of Christmas, we will talk about Prince of Peace. It's always my hopes that when we share these moments together, that there is at least beginning of thoughts and curiosity and desire to discuss and converse, potentially with those who you are watching this broadcast or this recording with right now. That together, right there in the setting you're watching this, you would enjoy connection. You would enjoy communication. You would enjoy consideration. I think if you think about it this way, both you listening and you sharing develops growth in all of us, and certainly human connection, which is essential to what we're doing here in the community we call Churchome. Thank you. You are so important and so valuable. Wonderful Counselor. Now, again, more than 700 years before the birth of Jesus in a little town called Bethlehem, and essentially in a barn or a cave, actually, which was used as a barn, Jesus was wrapped in swaddling cloths and laid in a manger by Mary, his miraculously virgin mother who had given birth, which she close by stood what is essentially the stepfather, if you will, of Jesus, Joseph. The journey is painful. The journey is difficult. That night, that starry, beautiful, clear night where angels would show up and shepherds would show up and there would be a lot of pets and a lot of livestock, a lot led to that moment. There was confusion. Joseph thought he was going to divorce Mary because he found out Mary was pregnant. And then Mary has to say to Joseph, it's not what you think. It wasn't a man who impregnated me. It's a supernatural pregnancy from God. I'm still a virgin. And of course, in those days, to be impregnated before marriage was a gross shame in antiquity. And Joseph was sure he was going to serve divorce papers secretly at night, not to embarrass Mary, but he has a phenomenal dream. And God says to Joseph, it is in fact exactly how Mary says, this is a virgin birth. It is supernatural, and there will be something unprecedented about this child that you are about to have. And so, 700 years before all of those events, the prophet Isaiah is prophesying in Isaiah chapter 9 about the future of the nation of Israel and the people of Israel. And here he says, there will be a child born to us and a son given. Now, the reason it says child and son is because that speaks of his humanity and his divinity. He will be a child of a woman, but he will be the son of the living God. He will be this peculiar and unprecedented and one-of-one connection of fully God, fully man, fully God. Isaiah says the government will be upon his shoulders. Well, what does that mean? Of course, for those in lordship or leadership in antiquity, it was the picture of the authority or the mantle resting on their shoulder. And for Jesus, the government will be placed on his shoulder. He will establish a new kingdom, a new governance, a new rulership, a new direction, a better way. It'll be a way not of war, but of love, not of force, but of mercy and grace. And of course, I believe the government be upon his shoulders speaks even of the fact that he would carry the cross that day some 2,000 years ago in a place called Calvary on his shoulder. And by carrying that cross, he would take all the punishment and judgment for all of our error and our selfish acts once and for all of humanity, so that now, because of the God-man, because of the man who is child and son, child of a woman, son of the living God, he will literally carry upon his shoulder the cross, and that cross will be the once and for all sacrifice for humanity. So now human beings can have connection, communion, and friendship with the living God. His name will be four things, Isaiah says, which I think speaks volumes of who Jesus is for you today, not only in the month of December, not only in the Christmas season, but as we speak. He will be Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, and Prince of Peace. What does the Wonderful Counselor mean? Well, number one, and I'll give you three observations for your consideration, connection, and conversation wherever you are. Number one, wonderful means miraculous. This man, this child, this son of the living God, he will be miraculous. And so in this month, we celebrate his miraculous birth. But of course, his miraculous birth is connected to his miraculous life. And of course, his miraculous life is connected to his miraculous resurrection. And because of his resurrection, even his death is miraculous. Even though thousands of men died by Roman crucifixion, only one rose again, just as he said he would. And he declares that his resurrection is the ultimate proof and indication that everything he taught was in fact transcendent and true. He is the miraculous counselor. He is a miracle. This month, we are celebrating the miraculous nature of Jesus and the fact that he has ushered in a miraculous era in which we live. And I want to say to you, wherever you are in the world, I believe in miracles. I believe God can do miracles in your life. I believe the thing that has died in your life and you've given up on, that in fact, maybe God could resurrect it, bring it back to life. And the very thing you thought you would never have or never enjoy can be brought back into your life because we believe in the miraculous birth of Jesus, the miraculous life of Jesus, and the miraculous resurrection of Jesus, and the fact that he lives forever and ever, and that you and I will live with him there in a blink of an eye. So we believe in this miraculous life. I think your life is a miracle. You didn't choose your birth date. You didn't choose your background. You didn't choose your ethnicity. You didn't choose the era in which you would be alive. God did. And you're supposed to be here for a reason. I'm going to go a step further. I think you're supposed to be watching this content for a reason. I think you're intended for a miraculous life. I think as you usher in and you realize that, or as God's goodness is ushered into your space right now, and you get that overwhelming sense that he is real and he is true and he is big and he is wonderful, you're starting to absorb the miraculous birth, the miraculous life, the miraculous resurrection, and it will change your paradigm and perspective. Science and math is not the ultimate truth. He is the ultimate truth, and science and math play their part, but there is a God who can go beyond cause and effect, who can go beyond 1 + 1 = 2 and all the scientific facts of our existence. He's transcendent beyond things even like gravity. He is miraculous, and he can do miracles in your life. What does wonderful counselor mean? Well, science shows us that when you talk to God about your hopes, your dreams, and your fears, do you know science says it's the same as therapy? Now, this is good news because if you're like me, for years I heard people say that I need to do therapy, but it wasn't until just recently that I even had enough resource to pay for therapy, because therapy can be expensive. And maybe you're like me, December can be a painful month as I remember the loss of my hero and my father. And boy, I need therapy. Well, science shows that when you come to God, who is that counselor that you can have connection and conversation with, and when you bring him your hopes, your dreams, and your fears, it works in your brain and in your soul just like therapy. Because he is a miraculous counselor and a wonderful counselor, people say you need to pray. Well, I'm simply saying that prayer is when you talk to God about your hopes, your dreams, and your fears. You could call prayer therapy. I encourage you this month, go to God with your hopes, your dreams, and your fears, and let the great miraculous therapist of the ages do work on your brain and in your soul that only he can do. And lastly, I think wonderful counselor, miraculous counselor, these 4 prophetic names of this man-child that would be born in Bethlehem, these 4 realities of who he is and who he would be and how he would function and the life he would live. He is miraculous. He is a counselor. You can confide in him. You can connect with him. You can do therapy with him. And lastly, I think our mind is intended to wander among the wonders of who he is. I can't help but imagine it's as if every day you're invited to walk the wonderful hallways of his heavenly perfection. As if a guided tour is afforded to you every day to look amongst even creation and consider his wonders. Consider the birds, consider the flowers, consider the mountains, consider the rivers, consider the lakes, consider the hills, consider the colors. Even the color palette of life itself is astounding and miraculous. All around us, the ancient scripture says, the handiwork of the Creator shouts and sings and speaks to our soul. And when we let our mind wander in his wonders, there is healing there. There is miracles there. There is rejuvenation there. There's reformation there. There's reconciliation there. There is healing afforded to you and to me. He is the miraculous therapist. He is the wonderful counselor. This is what he does. And to think that that night and what we now call Christmas and what we now celebrate on December 25th, let the record show, we're not sure it was December 25th. It's the date we chose. And that's awesome. And we don't have to get hung up on the month of December or December 25th. It's just this idea that we must celebrate the greatest birth in human history. Now, maybe right about now, about 12 minutes into this message, you are thinking to yourself, I'm not even sure I believe Jesus is who Judah believes he is. Totally understand. Totally fine. But you and I both got to admit, no one who has ever lived has had the impact of Jesus Christ. No one. And so even in that simple fact, 2,000 years after his death, burial, resurrection, and ascension, men and women like me and you are still preoccupied with his miraculous and wonder-filled life. I believe him to be God. I believe him to be the most wonderful person in human history. I'm not going to cry, not on December 1st. I'm going to cry later this month as I continue to record more of these messages, but I feel the tears coming because I must tell you at 46 years old, I have never met a more wonderful person. I've never met a better counselor. I've never had a better therapist. He's healed my brain, healed my body, and given me reason to live in my darkest and most difficult days. And I believe he can do the same for you. He is not just a cute little infant born in a cave in Bethlehem. He grew up to be the perfect man. And at 30 years old, began his public ministry by making drinks at a party and a celebration. He has much to bring to you and much to give to you. In a moment, I'm going to leave you to connection and conversation, hopefully with those in a room with you, or you can join us on Pastor Chat, but I want to lead you in a guided prayer. And it's here, I'm believing in these next minute and 30 seconds, that the beginnings of miracles will begin to unfold in front of you. I'm going to ask you to close your eyes just for a moment. Now, God, I am appealing to you because I know that while I am recording this, you are present not only right now in real time during this recording, but you are moving through time and space to the exact same way you are here. You will be there for my friend. You know her. You know him. You know them. Right now, you are there. Be near. Be the therapist. Be the counselor. Be the miracle worker that you are. As your eyes are closed, I'm praying that you will have a sensation. That's right. That's what I'm praying for. That you will have a sensation from the top of your head all the way through your body, that you are loved and you are seen and you are celebrated and you are safe and you are his. With your eyes closed, say this with me. God, I need a miracle. Say it again. God, I need a miracle. Now, whatever that miracle is, I want you to bring it to mind. I need a miracle. Maybe it's for your mom. Maybe it's for your sibling. Maybe it's in your marriage. Maybe it's money to pay your bills. Maybe it's a safe place to rest your head and call home. You need a miracle. So, oh, miraculous counselor, grant us miracles in this miraculous season. In fact, I want to say to somebody out there, your miracle is forgiveness, and God's going to put it in your heart to finally forgive that person who so terribly hurt you. That forgiveness is a miracle, and it comes from the miraculous counselor. God, take our minds now today and help them wander into the wonders of who you are. We thank you for that. Amen. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for being here. Hey, I'm so excited to share the month of December as we talk about when God was born. See you next week. Love you.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth resounding joy. Repeat